Hey, what's going on everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Hypixel Skyblock Hardmode series. First off, obviously gotta start off today's episode by saying a big thank you to every single person who subscribed during the last episode. We are still on the road to our massive milestone of 100,000 subscribers, and every time one of you guys subscribe, it helps out a lot. So please, if you're enjoying the series and want to keep up to date with it, make sure you go down below and subscribe right now. Anyways, as I mentioned in the last episode, today we are going to be maxing out this full adaptive set that we completed in the last episode when I somehow managed to pull the chest plate from the emerald chest. But before I begin work on that, there were some massive changes made to the mage class when floor 4 of dungeons was released just yesterday, and I feel like I probably should talk about them on episode. So the first major thing is that if I head over to the raw PortalHub collection, go to my beloved pigment sword and look at the item ability, you will see not only is the mana cost now 400 instead of the 150 it used to be, there is also a 5-second cooldown on that ability. Now, that is pretty rough, guys, because as you know, I have been working very tirelessly, or I guess I've been AFKing very tirelessly on this pigment farm here. And over like the past week and a half, 2 weeks or so, I've saved up like 80 to 85% of the materials that I need to craft the thing, and then this nerf happens. But I am still committed to getting this pigment sword. I mean, we're already so close. We might as well just finish the grind for it. And it's not all bad, okay? The ability is still really good, and they made it so that it deals more damage now. So even though you can't spam it like you could before, it still has some benefit. It's still going to be worth it for me to get, I think. But that is not where the changes ended. So in order to properly show off the next part of this update, I went ahead and hopped into a random dungeon party for floor 1, just so I can get the point across. So, whereas before, mana regeneration in dungeons worked totally normally, where I could just spam right click here and I would passively regen, I think it's 1% of my mana every single second, 1 or 2%, I forget which one it is. It does not work like that at all anymore. You will see if you look at my mana regen right now, it is going insanely slow. But if I start doing left click damage to the mobs, the regen kicks up a lot. So basically, the way mana regeneration works in dungeons now is the default way of just passively regenerating mana is nerfed by 90%. But whenever you attack a mob, you regen some mana. So at first, this may seem like a really awful nerf to the mage class. But if you watch, if I just hold right click and then spam my left click here, I actually don't lose that much mana. In fact, I probably lose less mana than I did before. So in my opinion, this is not too big of a nerf. You kind of just have to change your play strategy in order to get around this. But still, that is not where the nerfs ended. Because on top of that, the damage the Bonzo staff does was also nerfed. If you remember last episode, I was doing like 120, 130k. Now I'm doing like 40 to 50k. So overall, the mage class has gotten hit pretty hard by this new floor 4 update, which kind of sucks, but at the same time, I think overall it's good for the balance of the game. I'm still very committed to playing the mage class. I enjoy playing it. I have a fun time with it, and I've already like put a lot of time into getting these items. I don't want to like suddenly switch to their class if I'm being totally honest. But yeah, I'm definitely interested to hear your guys' opinions on it. From what I saw, most people were really upset about the mage nerf. I'm assuming because a lot of them were playing the mage class prior to the nerf. But let me know, what do you guys think? Drop me a comment. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Oh, and one other thing that I definitely should mention is that with the addition of floor 4, obviously some new boss drops have been added, and one of the items you can actually craft from some of the boss drops you get is the Spirit Scepter, which right here is basically just like an insanely better version of the Bonzo staff. So that item in particular is another reason why I have not lost faith in the mage class, because I think once I get my hands on one of those, it'll kind of be back to the normal of just like absolutely destroying everything in my path as a mage. Alright guys, and next up here, I'm gonna go ahead and max out my adaptive armor so we can start doing the comparisons that I was originally planning on doing for today's episode, where I will compare the previous kind of scuffed setup I was wearing to the full adaptive armor. So yeah, basically the process of me maxing this out is just gonna be putting some enchants on it, putting some reforges on it, and then upgrading the stars on every single piece. Nothing too interesting that you guys probably have already seen before. So yeah, let's just cut to the part where I have a really cool adaptive set. Okay, so I started to go through the process of maxing out the adaptive set. I got everything fully enchanted, but then I realized that if I want to go ahead and apply these reforged stones here, I need 150,000 coins per reforged stone. Now, usually this would not be such a big deal. I have 2.3 million coins in the bank, so, you know, why can't I just use 600k of this? The problem is that this Spirit Scepter that I was talking about, the item I really want to get, In order to craft this thing, you need 3 of these spirit wings. Now, when these drop from floor 4 dungeons, they cost 2 million coins. So I don't want to have another Bonzo staff situation, as I always say, so I need to actually keep 2 million coins in my bank balance at all times, which means that I need a way to quickly get myself about 300,000 coins. And as you guys probably already know, when it comes to money, we always rely on our sugarcane farm here, and today is going to be no different. I'm going to toss on my farmer boots, and I'm gonna get to work on farming some money. All right, and about 30 minutes of farming later, got 6 enchanted sugarcane and a little bit extra, which is more than enough to get me to the 600k that I need. I'll just need to take out an extra like 180k or so from the bank. All right, so we put necrotic on the helmet. Now for the chest plate here, we actually put loving instead of necrotic because loving's basically just a better reforge than necrotic. Unfortunately though, you can't put on the whole armor set. It can only be applied to chest plates. Oh my god, wait, and loving costs 300k to apply instead of 150k. All right, well, I did not know that, which means I'm gonna need a little bit more money here. Okay, well, I have enough to apply necrotic to the leggings, but before I can reforge the boots, I need to go get another 150k. So back to farming sugarcane, I guess. All right, got another 3 enchanted sugarcane, which is more than enough once again. So let's give this another try. Let me switch back to my adaptive, pull out those boots, and throw on this necrotic reforge. And there we go, necrotic adaptive boots. So the reforges on the adaptive armor is finally complete. Now it's time to go through the process of getting every single one of these pieces to 5-star. I already went ahead though and calculated the exact amount of wither essence I was gonna need. I think it's about 1725 since my adaptive helm came with 1 star right out of the chest. So yeah, let me turn this to 5-star and we'll be good to go. And boom, full 5-star adaptive armor. But now, unfortunately, I have 17 wither essence left. Thankfully, I won't need it for really anything else until I get that spirit scepter. So yeah, and at that point, there are a bunch of races I still haven't completed, so I can probably do a couple of those to get some quick wither essence as well. Which means, guys, it is finally time for the moment of truth. So I am currently in my full adaptive set. I just hopped into a random floor 1 party so that we can compare the stats between this and my, old scuffed set with the Bonzo mask and zombie soldier heavy, all that type of stuff. So here we go, walking into the dungeon, 3,200 health, 900 defense, and about 4,000 mana. So if I switch over quickly to this one, we are looking at 2,200 health, 1,300 defense, and 3,800 mana. I mean, honestly, the adaptive definitely has more health and a little bit more mana, which also means a little bit more damage. But that difference is not as great as I would want it to be, considering the fact that this set has like about, 300 extra defense? And even on top of that, the other set has the Bonzo mask, which means I kind of get like an extra life, because if I make a mistake and almost die, the Bonzo mask will save me and heal me back to full health. I mean, I don't know, I guess when you're playing Mage, it's pretty much like you'll do anything to get more mana, so, maybe it is worth it to have the adaptive just for that extra 200 mana. But that is crazy to me that the other set is that close in terms of stats to the adaptive. I was expecting like some sort of massive difference, and there's almost no difference whatsoever. So yeah, I don't know, if you guys play Mage and you were considering purchasing adaptive armor off the AH, maybe go for a cheaper set like Bonzo Mask and 3-4 Zombie Soldier or something, because you're gonna save a lot of money and you're not gonna really lose that much in terms of stats. Now, the one thing the adaptive does have going for it though is the full set bonus, where every 5 catacombs levels it gains plus 2% stats. So in the long term, once I start hitting like catacombs 25, catacombs 30, that type of thing, it will be a significant amount better than the other set. But yeah, I mean, honestly, those were definitely not the results I was expecting. Anyways, guys, for the end of today's episode, we are going to be doing a classic Ragetrain experiment, because if you guys are not already aware, in the Wolf Slayer collection, there is a weapon called the Edible Mace. Now, for the longest time, I'm pretty sure this weapon has just been totally useless, like no one has ever used it. But what I want you guys to focus in on here is that item ability, because it says your next attack deals double damage and weakens animals, making them deal minus 35% damage for 30 seconds, which could potentially be useful for me because the floor 4 boss Thorn spawns in an absolute crap ton of animals. So making them deal minus 35% damage could be pretty useful. Now, unfortunately, the edible mace is not super cheap to craft. It costs 18 enchanted mutton, which thankfully we have left over from our sheep pet crafts. I actually happen to have a ton of enchanted gold saved up because at one time I was planning on crafting a pooch sword, but I pretty much have no wolf teeth and we need 36 stacks of them to craft this thing. But I really want to find out if this is like a viable strategy to use on the floor 4 boss fight, so I guess I'm just gonna grind a bunch of Svens. Now, the one problem I do currently have is that all of my accessories are reforged to Bazaar, which gives me negative crit damage. So obviously when I put on my Master Farmer here, I have almost no HP. So to start, I'm gonna need to reforge my accessory bag to something a little bit better for crit damage. And literally the first reforge I got was Hurtful, which seems to give a ton of crit damage, and right away my Massive Armor is giving me 30k health. So hey, that was a pretty cheap fix right there. Alright guys, so like 50 Svens and 800,000 coins down the drain later, I have managed to craft the edible mace. But before I get into this floor 4 run or anything, I have got to say I streamed the process of grinding up the wolf teeth to get this thing, and something kind of insane happened. I won't spoil anything, I'll just go ahead and cut to that right now so you guys can see it. This has got to be, how do I have 13% magic find? Oh, that's just default, right? Oh my god! Oh my god, wait, isn't this insanely rare? I didn't even notice it. Why can I not sell these things, dude? I have like almost no use for that, but holy crap, that I know for a fact that it's crazy. It goes for 10 mil? Jesus, dude. Okay, I'm putting that away. I'm putting that away. I have seen Speed Silver's video where he accidentally put that on Enderman Pet. I am not risking that. Dude, I was not recording this stream, and then I was like, you know what? You guys heard me say it, right? Just in case anything crazy happens. Holy. So yeah, the 50% pet XP foraging boost dropped for me, which I think I mentioned in that clip as well, is worth like 6 or 7 million coins on the AH. Obviously in this series, we don't use the AH, so not as great of a drop for us, I guess, but hey, maybe in the future there'll be like a pet I want to use it on, so we got it. Still kind of cool just to get like a super rare drop like that, to be honest. But yeah, anyways, back to the edible mace. So we obviously did get it here, but during the stream, someone informed me that the like strategy I was talking about where you right click the edible mace and then use the bonzo staff to get the next hit and apply the item ability is probably not going to work. But they gave me a different strategy, which is why the edible mace now has cleave on it, because they said if you use the right click ability in the edible mace and then just left click the mobs and hit a bunch of them with cleave, that could potentially work. And honestly, I think this strategy might be even better, because if the mobs are all grouped up, I think the cleave enchant will actually end up hitting more of them and therefore applying the ability to more of them than the AoE on the bonzo staff would have anyway. But yeah, only thing left is to go ahead and test this thing out. So I'm gonna hop into a floor 4 dungeon run with my friend Studio, and I'll see you guys when the boss fight begins. Alright guys, we have made it to the boss fight section of Thorns, so I guess we're gonna find out very soon whether this edible mace strategy is going to work. Now, this is not going to be the easiest thing in the world to test, because I'm kind of just going to have to go off of like how much damage it feels like I'm taking. I'm going to wait until probably like the second stage or so of the boss fight, just so I can get like enough mobs where I feel like I can get a good test of it. Alright, I'm going to go ahead, head into like this big mob of animals over here, take a couple hits, and just see how much it feels. So like you can see, I'm dropping pretty fast there. Like within a couple hits of them hitting me, I'm losing like 2,000-3,000 health. So now I guess we'll try this with the edible mace strat. I don't know how I'm gonna figure out how to do this, man. This is not gonna be easy. Here, let me get hit by a spirit bull here. Hit me, man. Hit me. Come on. Okay, there we go. It did like 600 damage in one hit. So now if I right click this and hit him once, he hits me again. It looked like 600 damage again. Actually, I think that's probably like the best test we could get. 52. Okay, now it's too hard. There's too many mobs around. I'm just going to die if I stand anywhere near it. Yeah, I think the only reliable way to test this is just to test it on one mob, right? If I try and test on like a giant group of mobs, it'll be impossible to ever get accurate results. If I'm being honest though, even if this does work, trying to apply the ability to the animals is kind of annoying and like not very easy to do. So even if I were to assume that it is working, it would still feel like pretty dang impractical to actually use during the fight. So if I was going to give some advice to you guys, I would probably not go for the edible mace. You can let me know in the comments if one of you guys have found out like a really good way to use it.
but in my opinion, it seems like it's not working very well.
But yeah, guys, bit of a disappointment there. Was hoping that was going to be some new OP strategy, but kind of turned out to just be a flop. Anyways, though, I think I'm going to go ahead and end off the episode here today, so hopefully you guys did enjoy it. If you did and have not done so already, make sure you drop a like and a subscribe on the channel. Also, if you're in the market for a Badlion cape, you can pick up this very epic one I am wearing on my back right now for 10% off if you use the link in the description or code Ragetrain on the Badlion store. But yeah, thank you guys once again for watching today's episode, and I will see you in the next one very, very soon. See you guys then. Peace.